everyone, it's Darkseeker here. Welcome to another video, and this is an arena video. Yes, you heard correctly, an arena video. Over the last few weeks, I've been focusing very much on constructed play since the Old Gods expansion was released. You know, I've been experimenting with different decks, seeing what works on the ladder, what doesn't work on the ladder, but I got a little bit bored with that and I thought, hey, I need a break. So let's try some arena. And this particular video focuses on a mage arena run that went 8 wins. Hey, 8 wins, that's alright. And I was pretty surprised because, well, this deck has no fireballs. Hey, it has no flame strikes either, so I was pretty shocked that it went as far as it did, and that prompted me to make this highlight video because there are certain cards that got me incredible value. So we're going to look at some of these highlights now. We're going to focus on these cards that help me to win, focus on situations, and we're going to see what makes this deck tick and look at the arena meta. Starting off, Spellslinger. Now, this is a card that is heavily based around RNG. Sometimes it works out and it's great, sometimes it's terrible. In this particular situation, it gave me Shadow Madness. And I think this was the start of me steamrolling down my opponent. Because look, I stole his Haunted Creeper, and yes, Haunted Creeper is a thing in Arena. In standard mode on Constructed, the Naxxramas minions all disappeared, but in Arena, those cards are still here, and it allowed me to steal the Creeper and get the Spectral Spiders, and I think that was the beginning of the end for my opponent. That very well could have been the swing turn I needed. So yeah, Spellslinger value there. Corrupted Seer, tremendous late game card. I always think it's worth drafting this card because it's a 2 damage AoE. Okay, it's, you know, it's like a consecration, but it leaves you a body on board. And have a look at what I'm doing here. Making my trades, playing the Seer, and look at my health total. I'm really low. But this Corrupted Seer essentially allowed me to clear the board. I traded there, yes, I know, I could have gone face there, but I'm at such a low health total I had to trade. But this was the card that I needed to clear the board, to gain board control, gain board presence, and yeah, it let me win. Okay, the double ping to the face was really helpful, followed by the spell, but the Seer was really the tool I needed to get back into the game. So Corrupted Seer, really good card for the late game for board clears. Faceless Summoner, wow, in my opinion, probably one of the best class cards you can draft in Arena. And if you can get 2 of them, get 2 of them. They're so good. Instant pick. Because look at what this card has just given me. It's given me a minion with 3/4 stats. Okay, so it's a 6 cost 5/5 that's just given me a 3/4. I mean, that's crazy stats. That's a 6 cost 8/9 when you add up the stats, with spread across 2 bodies on the board, so it gives you board presence. It's really good. Can't advocate this card enough. So useful. No. And that's of course lethal. So Faceless Summoner, if you ever get a chance to pick it, do pick it. Really good class card for Mage in Arena. Massive swing potentially in the mid to late game. Okay, this next one's one of my favourites, Elven Archer. I drafted this card not expecting a huge amount from it, but it is really good utility. So have a look at this here. It's a situation on the board where my opponent is slightly favoured perhaps, but I get my spell power there. And I used the Archer to clear the board. Sure, the minion was frozen, and yeah, I could have pinged it next turn, but this gives me board presence. Elven Archer's ping is not to be underestimated. It's a really good card. And as you can see here, you know, it's pretty much over for the rogue. I mean, look at that. Faceless Summoner gave me a 4/4. It gave me a Dancing Swords. That's ridiculous value. Sure, he gets a card, but whatever. You know, Dancing Swords, hey, it's 4 attack on board. So Faceless Summoner there, Elven Archer, 2 cards that really helped me win this particular game. So yeah, never underestimate the power of the Elven Archer. That ping can mean an awful lot for you. Okay, this next clip, taking on 2 legendaries. Now, prior to the Old Gods expansion, there were games where I'd go up against one legendary after another, even to the point where in one arena run, in 2 separate games in that run, they played Dr. Boom against me in 2 different games in the same run, and it annoyed the hell out of me. And then in other runs, I'd just be facing this endless stream of legendaries, and I thought, what the hell is going on? And there's a legendary, which I can't target with spells or the hero power. Sargoth the Slitherer. So I've got to basically throw most of my board into this minion. I'm thinking about Corrupted Seer. That does 2 damage. So I'm thinking about whether that will do anything. But then the question is, do I want to waste a Seer on this legendary? We don't really get much value from a board clear here, do we? You'd want there to be more minions on the board for a board clear with the Seers. So it could just be that I've got to trade. So maybe before I trade, I summon a minion from Faceless Summoner. And notice in this deck, we drafted two Faceless Summoners. So I'm just going to sacrifice all of those minions there, but put him in a bit of a challenging position, because even with a Flame Strike, he can only ping 1 minion, one of the 5 health minions. And there is Archmage Antonidas. He draws a Fireball, but I think it's too slow. You know, Antonidas, if you've got cheap spells to go with him, can be just a ridiculous card for gaining advantage in Arena. But yeah, there's the well play. Antonidas in the end was still too slow. So hey, drafting legendaries isn't always a big deal. Right, Bogcreeper. This is a great card in Arena. The stats are crazy, right? And it's a bit of a roadblock. You know, it's a roadblock that can stop you from having lethal. It's a roadblock that can stop you from winning. I was able to clear it though, which is pretty good. But it took a lot of investment. And that's what Bogcreeper is designed to do. It's a really good card, certainly worth picking in Arena. Wow, Ogre Brutes. And I'm at 4 health. This is quite ridiculous. Yeah, there is no way of me winning that. But yeah, that puts us to 70. But yeah, Bogcreeper deserves a lot of consideration in Arena, just for the roadblock that it is. Okay, next little clip, Sludge Belchers. Hey, I bet you don't miss that card in standard mode on Constructed. But here it is here, Sludge Belcher, with the timeless classic that is Duplicate. Have a look at this. And that's annoying. That is something that, you know, when they get 2 Belchers in hand, how do you deal with double Sludge Belcher that will often come out on the following turn?
And I know a lot.
Well, the way you deal with it is you load your board up. Right? You load your board up to try and deal with them. Now, interestingly there, this mage only plays one of the Belchers. He's more interested in drawing a spell, and do you know what? Looking at the way this mage has played these games, it feels like Grinder Mage that you face on the ladder on constructed. You know, duplicates, taunts, drawing spells, clearing your board, surviving some more. That's what it feels like. Anyway, really got to think about here how to get through, because I know there is another Sludge Belcher coming. And you've got to think about whether Flame Strike is worth using here. Now keep in mind, I didn't draft Flame Strike, so I believe it came from the 6/3 there, the Ethel Conjurer. So anyway, in this situation though, I do not think that another Sludge Belcher is going to save him. So there are situations where, as good as Belcher is, as good as Duplicate is on a Belcher, sometimes it's just too slow. Particularly if your opponent has an aggressive board, and board clears to boot. So
No friend.
yeah. And look, he actually does it again.
Here's where you're wrong.
He gets another duplicate on the Belchers, but it wasn't enough. If I didn't have as aggressive a board, I can see a situation where I'd have been in serious trouble there, and where I would have lost the game, because the Belchers would just block me. Okay, heading into our next clip. Now, this is a fascinating clip. We're at 8-2. We're going for 9 wins. He plays his own Faceless Summoner, and he gets a charging Wolf Rider. You see, that's another reason why Faceless is such a good card. You can get a charge minion out of it, which he was able to use on his particular turn. And of course, he gets a tree out of Unstable Portal. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I play my own Faceless. And look, I get my own Wolf Rider. So dueling Wolf Riders there. Unfortunately, the tree, which he got from Portal, is basically blocking me now. I'm having to invest an awful lot to get through that Ironbark. And look, I have a Pyroblast, but it's not doing me any good. How do I get through that board? I mean, I'm essentially dead now. I am forced to use the Pyroblast, but it doesn't do anything. It really doesn't do anything at all. So, yeah. Pyroblast my own face is the best way to go. So, there you go. It was the 8-win Mage Arena that was destined to only go 8 wins. What stopped me from getting 9, 10, 11 or 12 wins? Well, basically mages. That is what stopped me in the late game. Mages who had some interesting RNG with Unstable Portal, good RNG with their Faceless Summoners, board clears and Flame Strikes, cards, fireballs, cards that I did not draw, or draft rather, in my at the beginning. So that's what stopped me. But I did play some really interesting cards. I did play, cards like, or draft cards like Faceless Summoner. Elven Archer was pretty amazing. Spellslinger got me some value. Corrupted Seer was fantastic. So, don't discount those cards. They do have great value. And even if you don't get the traditional mage cards that do well in Arena, like your Flame Strikes, like your Fireballs, like your Frostbolts, and so on, these other cards can still help you win, gain you the board. So do give consideration to these cards. As my video has proven, it's still possible to go 8 wins, even with a draft that isn't always terribly impressive on initial impressions, but still is enough to push you towards a good win rate. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, everyone, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.